bickering, people who continue to present themselves that they know what they're talking about, when I explain over and over and over again, they don't know what they're talking about.
Hey there, fella. How
That's
are you
true.
doing?
I did see that, and I do understand your perspective because you do like allow a lot of time for them to speak, and they never respond to you correctly. So I do
How many
understand that.
times have you heard me ask very straight, clear, circumspect questions, and I get purposely obfuscations for answers? They prevaricate.
Yeah,
This
and there's a
happens
lot of trolls
regularly.
too.
Yeah, and it's not even the people who are overtly trolling. They're purposely being deceptive, evasive, and circuitous. I ask questions in a very truncated fashion. I tend to ask questions that are in the form of dichotomies so that people will commit to a position. They don't want to commit to a position because then it makes their position culpable. They don't want their position to be examined. That's why they want to come on. They want to give me rhetoric. Okay, right?
Hey
Like
there,
when
fella.
I
I got a
say
Yeah.
question.
either you believe X or not. Which do you believe? That's a fair question, and that I get a verbal runaround. This happens morning, noon, and night on Discord and on a Clubhouse because people aren't being honest. They're not being transparent about their position. Okay.
And a lot of times, like I wish people would listen more often, because like people are so defensive and upset over the conversation, and they're not actually listening because they could be learning, but instead they're putting walls.
They could be, but they don't want to learn, do they?
No, a lot of them don't, to be honest.
No, no.
Hey there, fella. I'm kind of frightened for this child that she's in here. But may I ask a question?
Well, how do you know that she's not just very petite?
I'm not going to even enter that. I don't know. It's the
Well,
darn thing
okay.
about her.
How old are you?
Talking to the child, right? Not me, right?
Not you.
Yeah.
Tinker. Hello? Was I talking to
He,
Tinker?
he probably said that because they have the minor tag, Darth. You might have overlooked it.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't look at the tag.
Yeah, you
Okay.
didn't look, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, I've heard some very young voices in here, and then I ask how old they are, and to my surprise, they're quite a bit older than what I thought.
True. A lot of 22, 25-year-olds have that voice.
Yeah.
hey there,
we
fella.
also,
Can I ask a
yeah,
question?
Nasally.
yeah.
Does
Go ahead. Hey there, fella.
hey, is Islam fan fiction of the Bible, and by extension, is the Bible fan fiction of the Quran? No, wait, the Torah.
No, uh, the the Quran are just the random and vain babbling of Muhammad. The Quran really bears little resemblance to the biblical content at all, and it's easy to see. Um, he just was making this stuff off the top of his head. We can show it by doing a rigorous theological and philosophical analysis of some of the things that he said. Right.
Fair
So
enough.
it's just Islam is simply a derivational cult of Christianity, but it's a cult of a particular 7th century Arab. Okay.
Oh, so it is fan fiction. Muhammad is just the Joseph Smith of the Arab world.
Yeah, it kind of, yeah, and it's easy. It is easy to see what a sham Islam is, but when people are indoctrinated in this, they don't want to come to believe that their ancestors, their countrymen, their ethnicity, their family members are in one kind of gigantic cult of a 7th century bloodthirsty killer. Okay?
And this is an interesting one, but this is related to the Bible. You know that part in the final dinner, the Last Supper, when Jesus is like, hey, whoever's going to dip this bread with me is going to betray me. And Judas, for the one time he wasn't paying attention in his life, dipped it and made it out of that dinner alive. I don't think that would have happened. I think, in fact, Judas was volunteering to help Jesus enact his plan to become a martyr. What do you think about that?
Was he volunteering to become a martyr? No, because after his betrayal, he was so grief stricken, but he didn't have biblical grief. He had worldly grief. He went out and hung himself, and then it broke, and his body burst on some rocks below it.
Yeah, but that's just because he did what Jesus asked him to do. He thought he was brave. He thought it was the hardest man in the
No.
room.
Where did Jesus ask Judas to betray him? Where
He
was
said,
that?
whoever is going to dip it with me right now is going to betray me. And you know what?
You're misrepresenting the text.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. There was that other guy who, when when Jesus was arrested, he got so mad he chopped off that centurion's ear. Right? He's upset. He would have noticed right away and killed Judas. I'll tell you that.
No, he was acting on instinct to protect Jesus from what he saw as an illegal arrest. That's why he acted.
I think that the Christians may have misinterpreted that part because knowing anybody, if you dip at the same time as someone else, they would have died.
Peter had a history of saying and doing things impulsively, so we shouldn't be surprised when he pulled out the sword. You know, they carried the swords because there wasn't 911 back then. Okay, Jesus approved of them carrying swords when they went from town to town.
So now that we do have 911, do you think Americans should not be armed to the teeth with AR-15s?
Why would it be a problem for Americans to own rifles?
Because everyone's got them policed now, so that's why Peter had a sword, because he didn't
No, sir. Why is it a problem if a law-abiding citizen owns a rifle?
Because it's a weapon of mass destruction, my friend. I can kill 30 people with it if I wanted to.
Okay. Well, here's the problem. An AR-15 is a semi-automatic weapon. What you're referring to is something that's illegal that's been converted into an automatic weapon. As far as I know, that those are not legal unless you have a special license. So an AR-15, if it's legal, is simply a semi-automatic weapon, just like non-revolver handguns are semi-automatic.
Shut up.
Did you know that?
Yeah, but it's 30 rounds of death-dealing machines.
What difference does it make whether it's 10 rounds or 20 or 30 rounds? It's
the caliber.
No, what I'm saying is that do you want to ban rifles?
I want to ban rifles over 5 rounds.
Okay, well you're not banning rifles. What you want to ban are clips. Do you think that banning larger clips is going to prohibit some schmuck from making his own clips? You can make your own clips.
No problem with any size clip.
Right.
I just have a problem with a magazine being too big.
Okay, I should have said magazine instead of clip. Okay, yeah. So there's a ban on the amount that magazines can hold. Okay, so somebody who is nefarious and is intending on doing harm can make their own magazines. It's just made out of sheet metal.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Do you think Jesus would have written a parable?
Did you know that there was an attack in a church, and the gunman was fleeing, and the only thing that stopped him was another guy who had an AR-15.
True, but for every one of those, there's a guy in New Zealand shooting up a mosque.
Yeah,
for every one of those.
Do you understand? Do you know that? Okay, do you understand the difference between a semi-automatic and automatic?
Yeah, a semi-automatic is meant to kill. A automatic is meant to provide cover.
Okay, wow. You know what? Why do I do this? I have just dumb people. So automatic rifles are not meant to kill?
Well, in the military, they tell every rifleman to fire
Okay,
semi-automatic.
sir, listen to me. A semi-automatic rifle fires a bullet every time the trigger is pulled. The same thing that pistols do. Okay, other than revolvers, pistols with magazines or clips, whatever you want to call it, all those non-revolver pistols are semi-automatic. Do you want to ban those as well?
Well,
By the way,
ban.
the problem, the problem is that there aren't enough people with guns because people feel the freedom to go in and shoot up these places. Okay, look at what just happened in Texas. Do you know there was a church where a gunman came in? It was a year or two ago, and there were several people in the church that were packing handguns, and they blew the guy away, and they saved everybody except for one person that he shot. Okay.
Here's
Now,
where I'm going to ask you a question.
the point is this: the reason why people get these weapons is because they feel that the people they're shooting at are going to be vulnerable. How many people pulled out guns in saloons? Didn't happen that often. Okay, because if you did, then someone's going to pull out a gun and shoot you. The bottom line here is this: an AR-15 is just simply a semi-automatic rifle. Do you want to ban all semi-automatic rifles?
That's not a bad idea because hunting can be done with a bolt-action rifle pretty well.
Okay, so why does it have to be
I agree
hunting?
with you.
Why can't it? Wait a minute. Do you recall the riots that happened a little more than a year ago in different parts of the country?
Oh, you mean the protests of black people?
No, not the protests. The riots.
The riots. Which ones?
Okay, you know what? Get out of here. Okay, you're either you're really brain damaged or you're just a troll. Get out of here. What riots? Did everybody hear that? What riots?